What's up, friends? It's C-Threep. I'm going to show you how to mix an acoustic guitar with vocal track that's been recorded with one microphone. So just like a live performance of someone singing and playing the acoustic guitar. First and foremost, mic placement is very important for that. So if you haven't already, maybe you want to check out this video here. I show you different places where you put the microphone and what it sounds like, and find an ideal spot for the microphone, and that's where you're really going to get the majority of the good sound. What we're going to do here in our software is just a few little touch-ups that are not going to be terribly noticeable. They're going to be quite subtle, but it will make a little difference. But again, the biggest difference is going to come from making sure you put the mic in the right place to begin with. So here's our song. Let's listen to it real quick and then go over some things that we can do to make it sound a little better.
Cliche phrases to be heard have come and gone like autumn birds.
Okay, you'll notice first of all that the volume is hanging around, -12, -9 or so. I've got plenty of room. It's called headroom, which is ideal for when you're mixing a song. You want plenty of room for when you're adding effects and changing things. You don't want this track to be clipping to begin with. You want it to be a little bit on the quieter side of things. So the three effects we're going to apply are EQ, compression, and reverb. Three very basic effects. I'll go into just a little detail in this video on some of these. So first effect is called equalization, equalizer, EQ. There's a number of different names. This is going to allow us to get rid of some unwanted frequencies from our tracks. So I've got this graph here. What I can do is turn down frequencies at certain points. So, for example, at 200 hertz, I've turned it down about 10 decibels, about 10 decibels quieter than it was previously. So EQ is going to let me find some nasty sounding frequencies and get rid of them. And I know that around 500 hertz or so, 800 or 900 hertz, and 2000 hertz tend to be some unwanted, nasty sounding frequencies. So to find and kind of dial in on the really bad ones, I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to turn the Q or width up really high to about 40. This is going to make for a very narrow frequency right here. See how it's just taking a thin slice, whereas if I were to make a smaller Q, it widens up and it affects a wider range of frequencies. I want it to just affect a very narrow range of frequencies and turn up the gain a lot. So it's boosting this frequency a lot. What we're going to do is somewhere around 500 hertz, 400 or so, we're going to find where it sounds the worst when it's boosted. That will give me an indication of where I need to actually turn the volume down and get rid of that frequency. So let's press play and just find the nasty frequency.
Cliche phrases to be heard have come and gone like autumn birds. The golden rule and all her friends.
Hear that like annoying sound that's kind of distorting it? We want to reduce it there. So it's kind of like a boxy, just unpleasant sound. I know I took it obviously to an extreme by boosting it that much, but that allowed me to find the worst possible, nastiest sound, and I'm now turning the frequencies down at that spot. Probably want to go down about 15 decibels or so and just slice it out there. So we're going to do the same thing around 800 or 900 hertz and then around 2000 hertz.
Cliche phrases to be heard have come and gone like autumn birds.
Not pleasant. Okay, so that ended up being at 979 hertz. We're going to turn it down at that one. And then around 2000 hertz, there's just always this, 2000, it's a really exciting sounding frequency, but too much of it in your track will just kind of, it's really fatiguing to your ears to have too much of that frequency. So I'll show you what that sounds like.
Cliche phrases to be heard
not pleasant.
Have come and gone
So we're
like
gonna-
autumn birds. The golden rule.
Okay, so that's about it for EQ. Here's with EQ.
Cliche phrases to be heard.
Without it.
Have come and gone like autumn birds. The
With it.
golden rule and all her friends.
It's extremely subtle. That's honestly how it should be. I mean, we put the mic in a good place to begin with, so there's not much to adjust here. And you need headphones or some pretty decent speakers to hear these differences that I'm doing. But there is a difference. It's really tightening things up, making it sound better. Second effect we're going to use is compression. And this effect is going to allow us to control the loud peaks and make them a little bit quieter. So for example, let's see on this meter here how loud it gets when I say the word autumn, which is this peak right here.
Come and gone like autumn birds.
So it was like -9 is what it got to. Now we'll apply a little bit of compression. Just kind of ballparking it for the sake of this little demonstration right here. So let's see where it gets to with compression applied.
Have come and gone like autumn birds.
So when I said autumn birds, it was like right here instead of here. So it was like 6 decibels quieter on that spot with compression. That's a bit much. I probably just want to reduce it by 2 decibels, maybe 3. And I do that by first affecting the ratio. So if it's a 2-to-1 ratio, that says that for every 2 decibels of input volume for my track, it will reduce that to 1 decibel, essentially. So let's just do a little bit, about 1.7, not much here. So then we affect the threshold, which is this meter here. This is telling me at what point here on the graph will it start compressing. So if I've got it at -23, that means if you look over here on this graph, -23, it's about right here or so. So anything above this line will be compressed. So we're going to find a balance here to where I just start seeing on this side, you'll see some red dots appear for every decibel that's reduced. I want just 2 or 3 dots of red of reduction from these high peaks.
Have come and gone like autumn birds. Have come and gone like autumn birds.
See? Come and gone like autumn birds, just those louder spots. So it came down about 2 decibels on those spots just to smooth it over. I don't want to totally squish the track and eliminate all of my dynamics. I like having some softer parts and some louder parts. But what we're really going for with compression is control. We want it to sound smooth and controlled and just reduce the volume a little bit on some of those peaks here. Finally, we're going to apply some reverb. And I want to do just enough reverb to make the track not sound so present and in your face. Reverb helps blend things together a little bit, helps the track sit back in the mix, so that overall it just, I don't know, it just doesn't sound like the singer's just standing right next to you and singing. It just adds a little more atmosphere to the tracks here. So let's press play and add just a wee bit of reverb.
Cliche phrases to be heard have come and gone like autumn birds. The golden rule.
See, that's a lot. I don't want a lot, just a little.
Cliche phrases to be heard have come and gone like autumn birds.
So let's listen to it with and without this reverb here. So here's without.
Cliche phrases to be heard
Here's with.
have come and gone like autumn birds.
Without.
The golden rule and all her friends.
So it's helping it set back a little bit. It's subtle. I told you from the beginning, we are going to be adding some very subtle effects. The final touch is we just need to raise the volume. It's just a little bit quiet. Commercial songs are, pushing the 0 decibel limit right here. I don't want to get it that close, but I mean, we're about 10 decibels quieter than the average song. And so I want it to, be as loud as it should be. And to do that, I'm not going to, turn up the wave track itself, because that would then adjust all of these effects. They would, act differently on this now louder track. So what I need to do is turn up the output volume instead of the input volume, if that makes any sense to you. And let's turn it up like 10 decibels or so and go to my loudest peak and make sure that that loudest peak is not clipping.
Gone like autumn birds.
Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's listen to it now.
Cliche phrases to be heard have come and gone like autumn birds. The golden rule and all her friends.
Now let's listen to what the song sounded like at the very beginning of this video so that we can compare.
Cliche phrases to be heard have come and gone like autumn birds.
And our new mix.
Cliche phrases to be heard have come and gone like autumn birds.
So that's it in a nutshell. Go ahead and check out this video here if you want to learn more about reverb. I go into details on all those different parameters. And in this video, I do explain EQ a little bit more in depth and kind of explain how the graph works and everything like that if you're interested in checking that out. Otherwise, thanks for watching. That's it.